Don't you? You really love that shirt. What
I
is it
do.
about that? It's like 3 weeks in a row, man.
Well, this
do
is
you
what
wear it. Do you wear it like all day too, and every day? Does your wife? Does she wash
finds
it?
me much more attractive when I'm wearing this shirt.
So
She does. There's
So
like,
what you're
I don't know
saying
what it is about you.
is she hasn't really been very affectionate, and then you found the one thing.
The one thing. And
you're-
I wear it
I'm
all the
sticking to it.
time.
Honestly, if that's working for you, I call Chris. I'd like one of my own.
Unfortunately, it doesn't fade, so I'll get lots of miles out of it.
I'd like to get a pair of Does he do underpants too?
Not yet.
Well, then I think he's missing
But
out because
we'll
if this
see.
is what happens when
If
you wear
this
the shirt.
launch goes, you might be able to get this in everything. Wallpaper, textiles, your car. It'll be the Christopher Marshall edition.
Such a hot summer this year too. It looks really comfortable because another reason I'm bringing it up. I mean, here in Minnesota, it's been just god awful hot. There's very few days we've had where it's been. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. Otherwise, it's
What
been
I would call beautiful.
so humid, and we
It has
can't
been quite
complain
humid,
too
yeah.
much because the summer in Minnesota is the best 3 weeks of the year anyway.
Right. Our small window of happiness. Although never underestimate the capacity for Minnesotans to complain. It goes from it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too humid.
Why are the leaves falling off of the thing? Oh,
Today
there's
is
flowers.
kind of nice. I have to mow. I have to snow blow. I have to
geez,
shovel.
What's going on?
Yeah, right.
I need a shirt like that.
Yeah.
That's really not
This
what we're gonna.
is what happens when you move here. It's like you get 10 more complaints you didn't know you had.
So have you been working that hard this summer? Have you had any time at all to enjoy the summer?
Well, ironically, it feels like I've spent more time in my office just looking at the weather outside than actually like being out there or making plans to enjoy it.
It is something that we work and deal with on a regular basis here in the Midwest because we have a small window of opportunity to enjoy the summer, and then we work. This is when we work.
Well, especially entertainers, especially mobile DJs.
And wedding DJs.
And wedding DJs, like the bulk of everything you do is all concentrated. It's like preparing for the wedding, doing the wedding, preparing for the wedding, doing the wedding.
Right.
And then summer's over.
Right. And then the Minnesotans hide in their little huts, between January and March, actually like December or February, November till March. And nobody does weddings, so we have to make most of our money in that small window of about 4 to 5 months.
Well, and I caught myself complaining about the other day when someone was just like, so how's it going? And I was like, I feel like, and I was saying that I felt like I'm just like working and I'm just seeing summer from my window, but I'm not actually experiencing it.
Right.
And then I had to stop and think about that a moment, right? Or think about that complaint, because that's something that I've frequently complained and I've heard others complain about. And so I think, well, why is that then? Why? Because I'm creating it, right? I'm creating how my summer goes.
You're in charge of the weather?
I'm in charge of
you?
Well, I'm in charge of my life and how I react to the weather. And so I'm like, so I started really looking at like, well, what's missing here? So what's missing here? And what was really the big thing that was missing is I wasn't saying, hey, Bill, how about we take your boat out on Thursday and I'll set aside 3 hours and we'll go boating. The weather looks great. I wasn't actually being proactive about scheduling that in. I'm just running around being busy doing the work that I'm doing. Time is flying by.
Yeah.
And then, in the fall, we're like having a scotch going, gee, it would have been great if we could have gone out in your boat, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would have been great. Maybe next year.
So what you're saying is you're using this show to ask me to take you on my boat. You could have just called. You don't have to, put me in front of a camera and so you just come right out with it. I'll invite you on the boat. You don't have to,
Okay.
What?
Well, I just thought you might,
No.
No. Welcome to the Bill and Jason Show.
Hi, I'm Bill Hermann. That's Jason Jones.
And this is a show about how to be awkward. When an awkward moment happens, you think you're with your best friend who's like you could say anything to and everything would be okay and not awkward, and you discover otherwise. What do you do? Leave your comments below.
Get your own damn boat. That's
We
what
want
I'm
to
saying.
know.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean,
It's because I don't bring a tank of gas.
Like you said, though,
I'll bring gas.
What you're saying is you have to schedule it. You need to actually make the time. I had to schedule out a really busy weekend for me to go to my family reunion last month. Okay, if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't go to my family reunion. And I did for years and years. I didn't go to my family reunion on a really busy weekend, the end of July. And then I'm going to my family reunion every single time. And I got to work, and I don't know what it is. Why do I have to work every single time? And the truth of it is I didn't have to. I can just say I'm not working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And consider your complaints. Let's consider your complaints like as something that complain. Oh, I don't get to have enough fun time in the summertime. Okay, so then write those complaints down and then go, where can I fit this in? And you will find out. Here's what will be revealed.
Yeah.
What will be revealed is how important that really is to you anyway.
Oh wow!
Because it'll either be like, yes, I've got it in there, I'm making it happen, or it'll be like, well, I guess I don't really care that much about it, which then makes that complaint disappear.
Wow!
Because it wasn't a real complaint to begin with.
You should really think about coaching people.
You think so?
No, not really.
Yeah, I'll consider that.
So, did you see this thing I saw online? This psychology professor does this class in University of Maryland. And he shared this extra credit question he does in his class. Got shared online.
On Twitter. Yes.
On Twitter.
Somebody tweeted it. Like, Can you believe this guy?
Right, exactly. Exactly the kind of stuff they said. They called him the evil genius behind a twisted question. Here's the question.
This is an extra credit.
Right. Here you have the opportunity to earn some extra credit on your final paper grade.
Now, this is a psychology professor.
Right. He says, now select whether you want 2 points extra credit or 6 points extra credit added onto your final paper grade. Either he's giving this person a choice.
I want 6. I just have to check an option to take 6. I'll take 6.
But there's a small catch. It's written just like this. I'm reading it verbatim. There's a small catch. If more than 10% of the class selects 6 points, then no one gets any points.
That's a big catch.
Your responses will be anonymous to the rest of the class. Only I will see the responses. And then there's a little 2 boxes, 2 points, 6 points. You got to choose.
There's what would you undecided.
Do? What would you know? What would you do?
What would I do? Well, I think I would go with the one that I would most likely be able to get the points on. So I would take the lower number of points.
You would because why? Because you want to get them.
Because I want to get the points. So I would think my odds would be the best that if I would go with the lower one is that I would probably get something rather than risk. See, this is why I'm a bad gambler. Because it's like, put it all out, put it all on red. Ugh, I'll just spread it out in a little bit of everything and then try to hedge my risk.
That's it. Very interesting.
Kind of thing like that. So I'd be hedging my risk by taking the lower number. So I at least get something instead of a big something rather.
Yeah, this is a guy, Settlerman. He is getting a lot of credit for this, but he saw this that his professor used in his exercises in his class years ago, published in a psychology journal 25 years ago to adapt, since been adapted to a number of his colleagues, blah, 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 blah. The tragedy of the commons, basically the dilemma between doing what's good for you as an individual versus doing what's best for the group. Mm-hmm. Now, it stands to reason that people behave selfishly, but if too many people behave selfishly, the entire group suffers, and then everyone in the group individually will suffer. Now, he says in the years he's been doing this, only one class has received the extra credit. And he figures it's a fluke because in behavioral science, nothing is 100%. And like you were saying, he believes most students select the 6 points option by way of go big or go home. Okay. Mm-hmm. Others may do it out of fear of being slighted. You're trying to anticipate what other people are doing. If the other people get 6 points, you want 6 points. They want to be among those who score the highest. And they need to maximize the gain potential transcending the world of academia. Quote, the extra credit question is an analogy for any public resource in the world that we would all like to use, food or water or land. Again, if people are mindful of their own consumption, it's fine. But if too many people are selfish, like we are now in California with the water shortages.
Well, this could apply to all kinds of social political things.
Right.
And the point is not like where we are or you are on that social political spectrum. Mm-hmm. It comes down to like, if we look at like how this relates to the DJ industry, it speaks to a lot of things.
Well, look at how the DJ industry for years has been trying to organize, whether it be with huge associations or small associations. I mean, I went through that here in Minneapolis years ago when I started what was called MAP DJ, the Midwest Association of Professional DJs. Myself and a group of colleagues, mm-hmm. We decided we wanted to have an association here in the Midwest. Actually started with Minneapolis and then became the Midwest. And then the ADJA, and then there's NAME, and then there's lots of organizations that have done this sort of thing. But they struggle. And what I think what this is teaching us is the struggle around what's in it for me as opposed to what's in it for everybody. Are you looking at it from a perspective of what's in it for everyone, and how hard are we willing to work at making sure that everyone gets what they need by coming together under some small details so that we can all come together and work as a huge group? Or is it that you're so excited about what it could do for you that you can't wait, and then all of a sudden when it doesn't happen, it crumbles? I mean, I kind of see that as an analogy for what has happened with that, because I mean, we've never really seen any of the big organizations or even the small organizations go past any tipping point. I think the most I've ever seen is about 2,200 members, and then when it got to about there, it just started to fall away again. Why? I think mostly because of this. What's in it for me, as opposed to what are we doing for each other? And I don't see that as political. I see that as the big picture, the one thing. Are we doing it all with each other, for each other, or are we doing it to get that we all want the 6 points? So we don't get the 6 points. Damn it, none of us got the 6 points.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a number of factors. Well, a number of things that go through my mind when I listen to you say that in terms of organizing. So the emphasis for years has been put on bringing everybody together as if everybody shares the same interests, and now everyone in the industry does not share the same interests.
Granted.
There's a lot of larger volume-oriented businesses that are not interested in establishing standards, pushing standards. Not to say that they all keep low standards,
no,
but it's just not something that's within their business interest to be busy doing business.
And that's not every big company.
It's not every big company. No,
and every single op doesn't think bigger than that either.
No, and every single op doesn't go well, I should charge double what they charge because they'll hire anybody, and I've got lots of experience, kind of thing like that. And then there's conversation around it's what the market will bear. And here's a little tip: the market bears what the industry charges. So it's not consumers that are setting the price. They're always going to put downward pressure on the price. That's just the natural orientation of competition and capitalism. And consumerism. That works great, okay? Because then that requires you and everyone else in terms of they're not just going to pay more for better, the same but better, because you can't quantify that. I don't even know what I'm getting for more money than I'm paying. That's better. Well, so it's gonna not be catastrophe. What is that? It's not quantifiable. So it's so I'll err on saying on something that is that's less expensive. So
and I think speaking towards the question of what we should charge is one way to look at this, but that's not even. I mean I think that if we had that one thing.
So what is that one thing?
I think that's what it is. What is that one thing? I've always believed that the one thing that we've never all gotten together under is the easiest thing for all of us to get together under, which is that we're all DJs. Not that we're expensive DJs or cheap DJs or professional or unprofessional or tall or short or fat or whatever. It's that you're a DJ, I'm a DJ. And as much as I hate the fact that it's easy for anybody to have a cell phone and say I'm a DJ, because no one is there to say you're not until you do your first party. And then even after that, you're still a DJ, you're just a bad one. Okay, but you're a DJ. So we all use that moniker. So why don't we come together under the simplest thing? But what happens is we start to, it could be better if we could have 6 points instead of 2 points. If we did this, if we did that, which just starts to splinter everybody.
Well, that's
and then all of a sudden,
the fragmented
what's in it for me as opposed to what's in it for all of us. What's in it for all of us? We can all come together under one flag. If we really did, we'd have a million DJs.
And do what?
Once we get together under one flag, then we can start to create what we believe the largest. We could have a vote, okay? The biggest vote that says we all want to do this. But right now we're all voting as a small group. It's we're not all together. We've got a small group of 2,000 DJs, which is 1/2% of all the DJs in the country. And I'm guessing on that number, but it's very small. And that small group is saying we should be this and this and this and this and this and this. And then we tell all those guys who are not a part of this, who have never met us, that don't know anything about us 2,000, and they go, "What? Shut up, man! Who are you?"
Or if they're even indifferent or care or plugged in or whatever, or even consider themselves.
But we all could come together under one thing. We're DJs. But that's 2 points. That's not 6. So we'd all get the 2 points. once we get to 2 points, we're all together under 2 points, we could probably make some changes if we wish. But right now, we got a bunch of people that don't even know that we exist. We need to exist as one thing. That's kind of, maybe I'm going off on a tangent myself away from this.
But the thing is, there's got to be an appeal beyond more like, oh, hey, you do this, I do this, oh, great.
Well, yeah.
There's to be an appeal to participate beyond that.
Why? Think about it. Why?
Because if that was all that was needed. I own a
classic car. If you own a classic car, we're all together. Those classic car groups are millions strong. And the only thing that they have in common is they all have a car.
True, but if that were the case, that it's just that, then we would all be together.
It's not just that anymore. What happened? They had to be that to begin with, because you can't dictate. The 0.5% can't dictate to the other 99.9%. They can't. So until we are 51% in that small group, is now that we can't dictate to people who don't know who we are.
Sure.
That's one of the problems that we run into.
I think that from the point that things are now, with the smaller groups that have connected and joined or whatever, that it's time for the industry to splinter into lots of different niches and subcategories, and for people to actually work together and create marketing consortiums to really define and flesh out what those niches are. And then from there, they will attract who is attracted to those niches.
Well, so that's a different conversation.
Like the entertainment experience type thing, like the kind of MC driven, story driven, that sort of thing, that would be its own niche. And that would attract its own people to that niche. And that niche would establish its own standards.
But that,
and then,
you're speaking,
DJs would be able to be DJs and all that.
But you're speaking, though, towards two separate things. The idea of an association brings us together to speak and to work towards something bigger than ourselves, and has nothing to do with marketing. There's a marketing group and there's an association. A marketing group, we come together so we can work on those niches. We can have those people attracted to our niche. We can have customers attracted. That's a marketing thing. An association is designed to bring an industry up, to strengthen it, to bring economic development to it.
Well, let's look at the facts. Yeah. The facts are this. The people who do the majority of all the shows are people who are multi-DJ operators.
Right.
Okay? The lowest number of members that are participating in associations, things like that, I make me wrong, but the majority of people are part-time single operator people that make up participators in the association and conversations around the association, things like that.
Correct.
The people that are doing the most amount of business, that are really setting the rates, that are setting the perception of the industry, all that, and doing the most amount of work, the majority of them do not participate in this whatsoever.
Correct.
So if you want to do what you want to do, it's not the individual DJs to bring in, it's these consortiums, these larger groups, these businesses and you bring them on board, now you're actually starting to shape and change things. Otherwise, if it's just like the 10% of the single ops around the country that really want it to be different.
But see, I'm not talking about 10%, am I? I'm talking about 51%.
No, but you get the point, right?
No, I completely get the point. I really do. And yeah, we could do that, and maybe the other guys would come in. But even the big companies are still a smaller percentage of everyone that is out there. If everyone came together, okay, and we got 51%, 52%, anything below that is still a small group of people trying to dictate to the industry that really is having a difficult time existing anyway.
You don't need everyone.
You need the majority
critical mass, but you need everyone, and you need a critical mass of those that are having the greatest amount of influence on the entire market.
Right.
And that right now is not who the
it's not
associations are. It's just they're not being pulled in to participate.
Right.
I'm not even going to speculate on why or what's missing. It's been a conversation that has gone kind of a circular conversation around those that have been in leadership in the industry for years.
Right.
It's like what's missing and what's not, other than there's nothing there that's in it for the owners of these businesses.
Right. Which once again brings us back to the original thing.
Or they perceive it as they have to change.
6 points or 2 points. Okay. What's in it for me? What's in it for me, or what's in it for a larger thing that we can't even imagine right now?
Yeah,
we can't imagine because it's not what it is.
What would you choose? 6 points or 2 points?
What would I choose? 6 points. I'd choose the 2 points. I would.
Seriously? Is that because I said 2 points?
No, yeah, pretty much. No. I knew it. What do you think about this? Like he said, I think this is a circular conversation, and this is what I've always believed is the big missing, is that we're all trying to come together under too many things and not just one. But that's just me. What do you think?
Yeah,
if you have comments, put it in the comments below. Post it in our show.
Put it on YouTube, put it in the comments on DJ and TV, do it on the Bill and Jason Show page. If you can't do comments, probably because you haven't liked it yet. So like it and then put your comments below where we posted it. We can't wait to hear from you and interact with you.
Right, and tell everybody at this, because this conversation, I think, should be happening right now. So share this around everywhere, and we want to know what everybody thinks. So we'll see you next time on the Bill and Jason Show.
What he said.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sample per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an entertainment experience production.